Hi, welcome to 780, OTD 780, Evidence-Based Practice 3. Um, Creating this video to give an overview of the scope of the course, um, key assignments to anticipate, scheduling to anticipate, etc. And I will finalize a lot of the presentation assignments, etc., through this week and post those as well so you all can plan ahead. Um, so first of all, I'm excited about this course. I really like this course, this content. I think it's so relevant, so meaningful. It's basically the skills we're looking at using here are taking all of the evidence-based practice skills that you have learned over the course of this series and really putting them into action. And so it's a really nice chance for you to literally practice skills that you will be using as a good evidence-based practitioner once you leave us here at Pacific and go off to do all the cool things you're going to do. Uh, there's really just two assignments in this course. Um, and they've been broken down, and I actually even amended the first assignment, that is the smaller of the two, and I've broken that down as well. Because really, the objective with this course is to just kind of build you towards the process of all of these different versions of final products. So very similar to how Jen has approached the module, every day will be a module that will build on itself and essentially, yeah, lead you towards these different end products. So you've all probably, hopefully you've all have noted that this is the one module where there will be synchronous times. Um, that I will give you those specific assigned times. Like I said, I will post those here as soon as we can. It was going to be contingent on the pairings, which had to happen first. And I have also made some changes that I think you all will hopefully be appreciative of, to why I haven't posted these assigned presentation times yet. So I have changed things to where the second week, synchronous times of Thursday the 12th and Friday the 13th, we will not have anything synchronous those days. So I have changed formatting to allow for this. Um, and so now the only synchronous times are going to be the first Thursday and Friday. You'll be assigned to a time either on Thursday the 5th or Friday the 6th. And then the last Thursday and Friday. So again, you and your pair together will be assigned to a time Thursday the 19th or Friday the 20th. Now you're going to have additional requirements within both of those two assignments and presentation periods, to where you will be expected to also attend some peer presentations. That is something I won't be assigning. You will be signing up for yourself. So it'll be up to you. You can either choose to attend peer presentations the same day you are assigned to present, or you can choose to just present one day, be done with presentation synchronous activities, and then show up the next day to attend your peers' presentations that are required. So that will be up to you to determine, um, for both assignments. So for the first synchronous assignment, that first week, I'll be calling it's essentially a simulation. And so you will be assigned a day for your simulation. And you will be expected actually to attend that whole day. It's just going to be one session. So you'll either be assigned to Thursday or Friday. So the selection component will be in the last week. Um, I will open up a form, and you essentially just get to write your name in, just indicating, letting me know what peer presentations you are going to plan to attend for those final presentations. So that's the general overview for timing. Um, I will be posting, so I have finalized all of that. This has been contingent on these changes that I've made. So now that I've finalized all that, I will post a form that's going to list out all of the due dates for the different components. Your first due date will be Wednesday the 4th. It's just a part of that smaller first project is going to be due at the end of the day. And then your next due date will be Friday the 6th. You're going to have a written component for a different project for the start of project two. That will be due that Friday. So the first week has a little bit of overlapping between this first initial assignment that is just a smaller portion of your grade, and then the bigger knowledge translation assignment that takes up a bigger quantity of your grade and the work in this course. So you will, as you are kind of finishing up that initial first smaller project, you are going to be starting the first component of the KT plan that first week. Week two is just having you work through the template, the identified target subject areas each day for your knowledge translation plan. So I will lay that all out for you. And then that Friday, you will have a second draft, essentially. Part two of your knowledge translation plan will be due. And then the next week, you will be finalizing. There's not a ton of content to be adding at that point. It's just that will be a time to really synthesize and finalize your KT plan and prepare your presentation. So that will include time for preparing presentations. That will happen on Thursday and Friday. So that's the course. It's a big remodel from the course that was presented to the cohort above you. So unfortunately, if you talk to anyone from those folks, what the course that they went through is just good was really quite different. So there's not a lot of comparisons to be made there. I think this is a lot of really good changes. It's going to allow for a lot of good energy to put into the right places. And I love this course because I get to see all the different areas that you all are targeting. So one last thing I wanted to touch on with that was kind of like the conceptualization of this course. I'm hoping that evidence-based practice is going to come in as kind of a refreshing moment for you to really actually put your brain completely around an evidence base that you are or have worked with. So the objective and the skills that we're working on in this course are not to conduct a literature search, or not to create a matrix or a lit review, or really even like to create any written components. So we are building on these skills, and we are going to be practicing presenting, speaking to, fielding questions about scientific works and a literature base. So the first assignment is going to be focused in just on one article, one study. And then the KT plan is your opportunity to really speak to a body of literature that is speaking to this targeted problem, gap, need, you know, clinical development, whatever it is that you are going to be focusing on. So you will be working mostly in pairs. This will be all the differences will be laid out in all my different documentation on what is being graded as a pair and what is being graded individually. Most work, at least if it's not a turned in final product, you will be collaborating with your pair. Again, this is purposeful. This is to simulate a real world scenario. We don't operate as practitioners in a silo. I would encourage you always to reach out to colleagues and be collaborating, bouncing ideas off folks. And so in putting you in these pairings, it's really giving you, again, that opportunity to be practicing that skill. Uh, so in terms of how this overlays with your past work that you've done in evidence-based practice series and capstone, I want to highlight for you that so you are going to be asked to pull literature from either your scoping review or your literature base, your matrix, your lit review for your capstone content. Now, obviously, you're in a pair, so you'll need to decide between the two of you where you're going to pull from. And so there's kind of two ways that I see that that could go that I'll just kind of put out there right now. So you could choose to either identify, so maybe your pair, your partner has a focus right now that they're going towards with their capstone work that just seems really cool and you'd be totally good with kind of putting these practice skills towards this area of literature that they've identified. So if that's the case, it could work nicely because y'all could pull a significant, article from that literature base to do the first assignment with, and then proceed on to then flesh out, develop out the KT plan based upon that article and others to complete the knowledge translation project. Another route you could do if you both are just like really passionate about your different areas of focus, um, and you want an opportunity to kind of put your brain around that during this course. I'm offering the other idea that you could kind of agree to maybe target an article from one person's area of focus, and then do the KT project on the other area of focus. Now, we did partner you in these similar, areas of practice, so maybe there could be some overlap there as well too. But that's the objective. And of course, in the end, this course is really essentially this opportunity to practice certain skills that then you can and should and will take to your own work. So that being said, hopefully though, in really, digesting, critically analyzing and looking and spending time with a literature base, that's going to help you complement the work you're doing in fleshing out your Form D, your proposal for capstone in the case that your KT plan might be a similar or that topic. So there's opportunity for that. So yeah, so I like that. We've really strategized around that as well. So that's the idea with the course. Um, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to learn more about all the different areas that y'all have been diving into in the literature, etc. And I can't wait to kind of take all of your, wonderful skills that you've learned in evidence-based one and two and really put them into practice in a real world way. Um, as a practitioner, you often will encounter situations where you may have to speak to a study, a literature base, etc. Even if you're, practitioner at the hospital. I will tell you this happened to me as a clinician. I was a pediatric, OT, right? And so I had families that sometimes even literally had printed out an article saying, look, they were so excited. They had a child with a really rare syndrome. Hopeful. Can we do this? Is this going to help them be able to do X, Y, Z? And I needed to be able to really critically look at, okay, that's really cool. Let's look at this. Let's look at like what is translatable here. What are these outcomes saying, and how can that really relate to your child? Um, are there are there factors here that make this so that it's a great idea, but it's not safe to try? Like having these conversations, you will have that come up at times. And sometimes you'll be presented with stuff and you'll need to say, this is really interesting. I'd like to kind of take some time to look at this and I'll come back to you. And I'm going to tell you all this for our simulation, but that is completely okay to do and way better than, of course, trying to like say that you understand something or explain something and not being 100% accurate. So that's a skill I want you to practice, and that will also be encouraged in simulation. Um, to like in the moment, being able to respond to questions and thoughts and hopes around a piece of scientific evidence or study or etc. So that's why I really like this. I think what we are doing here is really going to set you up well to start flexing those muscles. That's going to be something you're going to get better and better at as you, practice and do work in the world. And then, of course, if you're involved in policy work, if you're involved in research, I mean, you are never going to be working alone. And you may have to present things in town halls, presentations, conferences, all types of settings where, verbally articulating something is often the venue in which you are translating this information. A written report is less common. At least the verbal translation is also an important skill to practice. So that's what we're going to be doing. Um, and then knowledge translation is really its own thing that is actually still in development. So I'll speak to this as well. So there are pluses and minuses to that too. The concept of knowledge translation is not just like a fine-tuned set definitions of things, etc. Go-to models. There are proposed models, but there is no gold standard. And so again, there's pluses and minuses to that too, right? But we'll discuss that. We'll think through that. And this course hopefully is just going to be just a really cool, fun exercise in application and really thinking through your own areas of interest too. So that is my general overview. Again, I will certainly work on getting you all of these dates and information out soon as possible. It has all been contingent on a few factors that I just wanted to make sure we had really solidified, so I didn't have to go back and make changes. So yeah, but my other message to you is this course has been restructured, redesigned really thoughtfully with the awareness of, what a module course is and how it operates from the experience of the student. And so preparing ahead of time, you are not expected to because I know you are currently in a module course, right? So I just want you to know that that is the thinking. I don't know if I said this already, but the first day I give to you as an orientation day and a day to just have that collaboration time with your pair, start just talking to each other, thinking about a plan about how you all are going to work going forward, which again, I think is just also a great thing to practice. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing you all online these next weeks. Um, I can't speak to enough how much this is why I went back into academia. I'm very passionate about having good evidence base to support all of the super cool things that OTs do. So it's really my joy to teach this course. So I look forward to working with you all, and I will certainly get you all the information here over the next days, and am always open to feedback and questions as well. Okay.